Hi everyone, I'm actually hoping I've got enough space on my iPad to finish this video. It might stop halfway and I might have to start deleting a few photographs and such to finish it. But today I wanted to go through why I'm using a pocket and how I use a pocket size Filofax. When I worked, I used to always use the personal. 5 years ago I retired and I went down to a pocket size, and I must admit the pocket size is my absolute favourite, and because of that, over the course of the last 3 or 4 years I've managed to sort of collect quite a few. As you can see, I've got an Eden, a Jack Vintage, a Malden, Finsbury, Classic and a Metropole here. Quite honestly, I can't resist buying them, and there is still a couple more on Filofax that I'd like to buy, but I'm going through my no spend August at the moment, so I'm not letting my fingers do the talking. But today, let me put these away. Today I wanted to just talk about the Apex and why I'm using the Apex. Because I've got so many pocket sizes now, and I can never choose which one I want to use because I just love them all, I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different one every month. And this month, as you can see, month of August, is the Apex. But before I go into it, I want to explain to you, I don't have a laminating machine. Mainly because I live in such a small place, I don't have anywhere to keep putting all this equipment. I did at one point use the self-laminating sheets, which were absolutely wonderful. They're perfect, but they work out quite expensive. And I happened to mention this to my eldest granddaughter, and she said, well, why don't you use the rolls of plastic, sticky plastic? So, although it is a bit fiddly to use, and I'll explain why in a second, I did go and buy a roll of sticky plastic. It's miles and miles and miles of it for a couple of pounds. But the only problem is one, you have to be careful how you put it on, because it does wrinkle up the paper if you're not careful. And two, when you're doing the holes in it with the punch, it doesn't cut right through, so you sort of like punch it, which makes little marks around it, and then you can put the scissors in and cut it. It is a bit fiddly, but it's well worth it if you don't have a laminating machine and if you don't want to spend a fortune on laminating sheets. So anyway, so when I say I've covered it in plastic, that's what I mean, instead of laminating. Now every time I use a different Filofax, of course, it's different in size, so I have to adjust. I mean, for instance, my Malden, it's got zips, it's got pockets, it's got places for credit cards and all that sort of thing, but I have to adjust, which is quite good fun actually. Now, the Apex, for anybody that doesn't know it, it's a polyurethane, PU they call it on the site for short, polyurethane. It's quite a nice feel to it, it's quite solid, yeah. Now, and it's closed with an elastic band, which is good fun, a coordinating colour. I got this because they have it on site at the moment for £17.50 instead of, I think it was 26. I don't know, I could be wrong about that. Anyway, now inside I have, these are my calling cards. Can't say they're business cards because I don't go to work anymore, but they're just with my name on, my telephone number and my email address, so if anyone asks, I just hand them one. It's a bit ostentatious, but it's good fun. These I keep there from the local taxi firms, and one gives me 10% off, and one, they stamp it on the back and it gives me a free local ride when it's full up. Well worth having. In here, oh, that's just an odd bit of paper. Oh, that's just my television programmes that I like, that are finished now, that I want to keep an eye on for when the new season starts. I have a couple of books of stamps, and here what I've done with this, my store cards, I've just made sure they've all got holes in, joined them together with a very thin ring, and I shove them in there. On the bottom here, I have here, oh, that's a little scarab beetle. I have here the equivalent of a £1 coin for shopping trolleys, or the gym, the locker at the gym. It's the same size as a £1 coin, and I'm sure this one I bought from the Samaritans as a donation, but I'm sure you can get them anywhere. At the moment, my favourite man from Stargate, love him to pieces. Yep, so I have him there to start with. This is the taxi cab that I use most of all, and I have that there so that I can quickly open this when I'm getting the money out, and I can show him it's 10% off. Here I have another taxi firm which don't meter, they literally just charge you a specific amount, so I keep their list here, and I've put plastic on it so that it doesn't pull it and it doesn't split, it stays there forever. Here, back and front, is my local bus, one to go into the main town of Bournemouth and one coming back from Bournemouth. Yeah, this I made out of a spare piece of plastic that I had from an A4 folder. I just literally, it was a long bit of plastic, I folded it up, made holes in it, cut one piece shorter, and in there I've just shoved a bit of money. I mean, you can put anything in there. Now, I never used to have these maps. I used to think, gosh, they're so small, who cares, you know? But because there's so much trouble going on in the world now, out in the East, I thought it's interesting to know whereabouts in the world it is when they're discussing it on the news. So I shoved that in for the time being. I'm sorry if I'm speeding through this, but I really don't think I've got much room on the iPad. That's just a tag that I've just sellotaped, pinned there for no reason at all. Right, my first tab is memo. Yep, here I just put any old list. It's nothing organised, it's one sheet each time. I use back and front. What I do is when I've used that front, I take the sheet out, turn it up the other way, and then use it again. Okay, that's my memos. The next one is my to-dos, and here what I've done, I've made a fun list, a list of 10 things that I must do every single day, covered it in plastic, and I just make sure I do these 10 things every day. Now, where it says daily chore, number 2, if I go here, I've made out a couple of things that I have to do each day, one line a day. If I don't do anything else, like say today might be hoovering day, or I might do the toilet and the basin, or dust low and high, or whatever. And then on here at the bottom, number 10 is special work or special chore. That's one of these at the bottom, which gets done, maybe they get done once a week or once a fortnight, whatever, depending on what they are. There, and this I just move along when I've done it, and I go to the next day. That's also covered in plastic. Yep. Then from then on, it's just my memos. I don't know if there's anything private there. I didn't look. I like to use memo paper if I can, because I like to tick the little boxes. So that's the memos. Now, phone. This is also laminated with, well, plastic covered with plastic. What I've done is I've made out, in the phone part, I've made out an in case of emergency. That at the top there's who to call, which is my daughter and her telephone numbers, what I'm allergic to, what I've had done with me in case I have another heart attack, so that people know that I've already had a heart attack, so there's a chance if they find me laying in the street I might have had another one. And my tablets I'm taking, so that people know exactly, so any hospital or doctor knows what to do. And my doctor's name and address is down the bottom. Then behind that are my telephone numbers and addresses. I've got them in my phone, but somebody might steal my phone, I might lose my phone, and I'd be lost without numbers, because let's face it, we do not remember numbers now. Now what I've done is, I can't show you because you'll see that it's private obviously information, but one page is my family, so everyone on that page is my immediate family in this area. The next page are distant family, such as cousins that I might have, and friends. Their phone numbers and addresses are on there. Then I've got one for businesses. That's my hairdresser, the dog, local dog carer, you know, and so on and so forth. And that's what I do. One page per thing. My health, I've got my doctors on the page with my dentist and so on. Yeah. Then I have, oh yes, then behind that here, they're here now, oops a daisy. Under this here, this comes off. I'm not going to take it off, but this comes off and opens out. Right, and under there I've got my pages with my passwords in. I'm going to draw on this, make a pretty picture on it, or put some stickers on it. But it's literally a long piece of paper, folded in half, holes in one side, both sides, but then I've just clipped the holes in this side to hide the passwords, so that if I'm in a shop and I open it up, no one can see a password. Then I have the diary. That's my dear old mum. The last photograph I have of her, she died very young. So that's me there. Now here I have two diaries. I have one yearly diary that shows a month review. Yeah, and on it there I make obviously like a little green sticker to remind me to check my bank account or pay the credit card. That reminds me to put my prescription in that week. Then I have birthdays and so on. And then I keep that quite short, obviously, because there's not much room. And then in the real diary, I stick on the days what's going to happen. I've actually started little doodles. I got this from Mrs. Brimble's. She posts her videos under the name of Mrs. Brimble's. So I've started, just for fun, she says doodle. I'm not an artist. In fact, I draw like a 4-year-old. And so I've started doing little rubbishy things. But it's all good fun. Then under here, under this one, I call it money. I call it money for short. I try to make the word short on the tabs. Underneath this money, I have a laminated page which has got my numbers on to get into my bank account. Now that sounds a bit dodgy, I know, but it's not the password into the bank account. It's the bank account. You have to choose 13 numbers or letters, and every time you go in, they choose a different number or letter. And I've just got that on a laminated piece of paper under there to remind me of what they are. And then this page here is shop, as in shopping. And what I've done here, for those of you that watched my other video, my other Filofax video on my Finsbury, you will have seen. But here, I keep a laminated a list of the food that I buy on a regular basis, so that every time I go shopping and make shopping lists, I can just look down and say, oh yeah, look, oh yes, I need eggs, or I need cheese, or whatever. And that's handwritten but laminated. In here is a pocket, a top pocket like that, that I put my vouchers in that come through the post from Tesco's or Co-op. I do use them all, and I make sure, I mean, this one here is the last one I've got, and it's £4 off if I spend £20 in a Tesco's Express. Then I have, just for my bank cards, I have my debit card. That's my bus pass, handy. Here is another bank card which I get extra money out of, spare money out of. Here, I love this, I mean, Footsteps. We all know Footsteps now, but when I first found Footsteps, oh God, I'm going back years and years and years and years now. It was beautiful and brought tears to my eyes, but of course we all know it now, it's quite famous. Now this is just an ordinary envelope. In here what I do is I keep my credit card. Now the reason I keep my credit cards in here is so that I don't spend. If I have to get them out of the envelope, I have to think about it, then that means it gives me a second chance. Do I really want what I'm buying? And also in there I also keep 2 checks, single checks, because as we don't use checks very much now, there's no point in carrying a checkbook around. So I keep a couple of checks in there just in case my daughter asks me to write a cheque out for her. Then here is normally what people call the dashboard. I don't bother to have it at the front because I've got already laminated photo there if I want to stick anything on, and a laminated thing there, so it doesn't worry me. And I just keep this at the back because keeping one of these at the back stops the pages getting screwed up. On any Filofax I use, I always keep one of these at the back, but this one I use to stick my arrows on, easy peasy. Yeah. Here are my little dots, although one can, I haven't got one with me, keep a little notebook tucked inside. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't know where I put mine now. And some of the Filofaxes you can actually put a phone in there. I could probably squeeze my iPhone in there if I had to, but I don't want to because it blocks the signal. And then I have my little Filofax pen. I've got a couple of these, one for the personal size and one for that. So that's how I use my pocket Filofax. That's how I'm using it this August, and I'm using my Apex for August. Probably September I might have to make some more adjustments as to how I put things in, because I'm going to use my Jack Vintage for September, because I've only just bought that one and I'm really looking forward to using him. So yep, that's how I use my Apex. I'm sorry if I bored you, but then again, if I bored you, you would have switched off by now, wouldn't you? If not, I hope you enjoyed it, and next month I'll try to remember to do a video of whichever one I decide to use for September. I'm sure it'll be the Jack Vintage, but we'll have to see. Thanks ever so much for watching. The comments are open if you want to leave a comment. I love hearing comments, although I don't always answer them because I'm so blooming lazy. I get it come through by email and then I forget to click on it to go and answer you, but I really do appreciate any comments. Thank you very much. Bye bye.